Hey friends, how's it going? Today we are going to be continuing our little project on my wife's Cadillac here, and today we're going to be putting in an aftermarket amplifier. Check out my last video on bypassing the factory amp on this car, but today we're going to go in behind the dash, behind the aftermarket Alpine head unit, and put in a nice little Alpine amplifier. And the amplifier we're installing is this little Alpine power pack, the KTA 450, because this will actually mount directly to the rear of my wife's Alpine stereo. She has the ILX-W650. So we're gonna mount this directly to the rear of that, which will be really fun. And in the box, it comes with the amp, it comes with the wiring harness right here, and then I believe it also comes with the mounting hardware. It does. So the plate and everything, that'll actually allow this to mount to the back of that head unit. And then I used just this amplifier wiring kit, this 12 gauge kit from Crutchfield, because this thing isn't super big. It's, you know, small little power pack, 45 watts RMS, or 50 watts RMS, sorry. So this will be more than enough for that. The very first thing we're gonna do on this amplifier is we are going to adjust the amp itself, put it in the correct mode, and adjust the high pass filters on this. We will be using subs in this vehicle at some point, so we're gonna go ahead and cross out the lower frequencies, and honestly, the frequencies we're gonna be cutting out are about perfect for the speakers that are in the doors of this. If you've been following along, you saw we put the Rockford Fosgate Prime P1 speakers in the door, and this amp is perfectly matched for those. Those are like 45 watts RMS speakers. This is 50 watts RMS, and then we're gonna set that crossover frequency for the rear speakers a little bit higher, probably around 80 hertz. And then for the front speakers, we're gonna set that at 60 hertz, since those front speakers are 6.5s, the rears are the 5 1/4s. On the back here of this amplifier, it does show how to set these pins right here based on how you're gonna have this set up and how you're gonna use it. And it shows, you know, the input right here, how do you select it? So we're gonna be doing speakers, 4 channels. So pin number 6 needs to be down, whatever. Number 5 needs to be toggled up, so it is. And then now we're gonna do speaker fronts, and in order to set that at the 60 hertz frequency, we're gonna do the right one up like it is, and then the one right next to it, number 2, is down. And then now to set the rear channel to 80 hertz, we're gonna do the one on the left up. So number 4 is in the up position, and then number 3 is in the down position. So that's how that's currently set up. So this is set up high pass frequency, front 60 hertz, rear 80 hertz. And then now I'm just gonna turn these gains down. They're actually probably down all the way. So we're gonna turn them up between 1/2 and 3/4. You don't wanna crank this thing all the way up. You'll just get a bunch of distortion way early. Now we have the amplifier set up. So we're gonna go inside and pull apart the dash to get behind that stereo. I'm not gonna go into a ton of detail on pulling this all apart, but you've got these trim pieces here and here that pop out, and we'll just use a trim tool, get behind there and pop them out. Trim piece on either side of here that come out, and then there's going to be some bolts down here. So I'm going to pop these trim pieces out really quick. Again, it's just a matter of putting this back there and just prying it out. It comes out pretty easily, to be honest. Just like that. We're going to do that the same thing over here. The only difference on this one over here is before you can actually pop the trim piece all the way out, you've got to slide it over because it kind of hooks in there, but it fell out for us. But it's got like that little hook right there. It'll usually hold it in there. You got to slide it over to get it out, but it popped right out for us. Start on this side, maybe be easier. There we go. Pop that out, and then same thing, and that's going to give us access to some bolts. We're going to need to pull out this bolt and this bolt. So this bolt we need to get out on both sides so we can actually pull this shifter cover up and out of the way. We'll unbolt those, and that'll allow us to pull this whole face cover thing off of the front. Again, just gonna pull these bolts out. The ones on the shifter plate are a 10 millimeter, it looks like. And then the ones up above are a little bit smaller. And then really quick, we're gonna have to put the car like in neutral or all the way down in low gear. So put some wheel chocks under your tires so your car doesn't roll around. Once you get those 2 bolts out of the shifter plate, like I said, you put it down all the way down low gear, and then you're just going to pop it up. And then that'll allow you to pull it back, kind of get out of the way. And then we're going to pull these 2 bolts out up on the bottom of either side of this, which is a little bit smaller bolt than the other ones. I don't know what size it is. And these up here look like they're 7mm. So we'll get our little ratchet out and get those out super quick. And then my wife already has a aftermarket deck on here, so hers has a little plate up here at the top we can pop out, and then we will just pop this plate off too. Once the bolts are out of the bottom, that plate's at the top, this just pops off and just will pull out kind of out of the way here. And again, this is where you had to have that shifter plate out of the way, and then that's going to give us access to that whole stereo right back there. I'm going to go ahead and remove the wire harnesses on here. There's only a couple harnesses on here. Then this whole faceplate can get moved out of the way just to make it easier for me to get access to everything. And again, my wife's already got the aftermarket unit, so bolt there, bolt there, bolt there, and bolt over there. Going to allow me to pull this out so I can flip it around and get to the back where we're going to mount that amp. And then once we've got the unit out, you can see this is a really shallow head unit, this Alpine ILX-W650. But it's designed to mount this amplifier to the back of it. So we're gonna get this all unhooked really quick and mount the bracket to this. I did pull the head unit all the way out of the car to do this. Here's that bracket that this is actually going to mount to. It's pretty straightforward. It literally goes right there. A couple screws in here that screw it onto there, and then it attaches to the back by hooking into these clips right here, which I'll show you when I get to that point. This kit comes with a few different screw types. The ones that we're going to use, they actually have an Allen head right there, and they're kind of short and stubby. And these are the ones that are going to go into the amplifier from the bracket here. And once the bracket's attached to this, on the back of the head unit, this is the actual bottom, there's 2 tiny little screws on either side. We're going to pull those out, and then this comes with some new screws that will actually bolt the bracket onto there. You know, for those little screws, you almost need like a watch kit that has a tiny little screwdriver in there, or go buy a set of really small screwdrivers, just a really small Phillips. I happen to have a watch repair kit, so I've got a screwdriver that's small enough. It'll probably be really hard to tell, but the screws that come with this kit are just a tad bit longer than the ones that were in the bottom of the radio here. And that's so it can go through this bracket and still bolt down there with enough threads. There's this antenna wire. There is a slit in the bracket where that wire sits. So just be careful of that when you put this together. We are ready to almost bolt this down. I'm going to plug some wires back into the back of this. Maybe not. The only one I'm going to plug in is the USB cable. It goes way up there, and I want to make sure I've got that in before I bolt this down, or I'll never be able to get back up in there and get it. Also, if you have the XM radio adapter, make sure you plug that in up there as well before bolting this down, or again, you'll have the same problem. Be very difficult to get to. You'll also want to plug this in to the side of the amplifier first, and then the wires can come right down through this way, because on this bracket, they can't stick out the side there. So we're going to plug that in, wrap it back down underneath, and then that's the wire harness for the amplifier, and then we'll start connecting it to the harness in the car. To make it easier, I'm going to take these wires, I'm going to bend them and kind of form them a little bit, so that way when I try to put them in that bracket, it'll sit in there a little easier, because these are some pretty stiff wires. It's going to be much easier to do the wire harness without this plate on, so I'm going to go ahead and pull this back off really quick, put the wire harness on, and then attach the plate, just so you know. And guys, look who it is. It's Mr. Pips. Hey, buddy. What are you doing, buddy, huh? You know what Pip says? Pip says it's time to take a break. Some Dr. Pepper, zero sugar, strawberries, and cream. Mr. Pip missed my last video. He was inside playing or something, but he's not missing this one. He's going to make sure I stay hydrated. Good stuff. We got our bracket mounted. Wires run up along the side here of the amplifier. And now we've got access to our speaker wires, RCA cables that will plug directly into the RCAs coming out of the head unit, ground wire, power wire, and the remote wire. So we've just got to connect those 3 wires, splice this into the harness that's already in there, go into the speakers, connect the RCAs, and this thing is about done. The one thing I will need to do is run the power cable from behind the deck all the way back to the trunk, because the battery on these cars is in the trunk, and there's actually on the positive cable a post that's perfect for connecting the wire to already. And then while I'm doing all that craziness, I'm gonna run RCAs and a remote wire back to the trunk, so when we get ready to install the subs and amp on this thing, it's all ready to go. Not going to go into a ton of details just because every car is a little bit different, and I'm not doing a deck install. The deck's already installed. On here, I've got these RCA cables that came out of the back of the amplifier that are connecting to the RCAs that come out of the head unit right here. So front, left, right, rear, left, right. And then what I'm going to do now is take the wires from the amplifier and connect those to the speaker wires in the harness down there. And again, every vehicle is a little different. Like there's my rear wires there, my front wires are in this harness here. And I'm gonna just cut the wires coming out of the deck where I had it previously connected and connect it to the speaker wires going to the speakers. And on this one, I'll have to do the input where it goes into the chime versus out of it, so I can still have my door chimes. A little more complicated, but it's honestly not that difficult. And then once everything's connected, I'm gonna put it all back in the dash, reassemble it, and this is done. The install of this amplifier is pretty simple. It's just all done at the back of the stereo versus doing it like in the back of the car. I like this because it just mounts to the back of the head unit, sits right up in this big opening, just makes the process super easy. I like to use these heat shrink butt connectors. The side that I've got crimped on, I've already used the little torch on to heat those up. It's just a nice little secure connection. It's waterproof. Not that I'm worried about water up here, but it's just another way to make sure that these aren't gonna separate it all. I do have this metal plate back there with those bolts on it. I'm gonna pull one of those bolts out and kind of sand down the metal around it, and that's what I'm gonna use for my ground point for the amplifier. The kit already has a eyelet on, or ring terminal on there, so I'm just gonna, like I said, pull it off, sand it down behind there, and then ground it right there, and then I'll just run the power wire under the dash, along the back, all the way through to the trunk, and connect it to the battery back there. I'm reassembling everything now. I've got the deck back in, I'm just buttoning it up. Something super important to note, and I need to go back to my other video I posted about bypassing the Bose amp. You need to run wires from the amplifier back to the Bose amp and splice into the speaker outputs there. I'm guessing there must be some kind of unit between the head unit and the amp that does signal processing, because when I turned it on, it was staticky. It didn't sound very good. So just to see, I ran wires from the front to the back, spliced into the harness back there, and it sounds amazing. These speakers sound great with this head unit and this amp, way better than that Bose system, but you do need to run those wires. I need to update the other video so people know. Okay, we've got the amplifier hooked up, and it is amazing. So there you go. That's how you install that power pack onto this Alpine ILX-W650. And it also works with the, I think it's the 450 is the other Alpine deck. So if you have that deck in any vehicle, that's how you connect it to the vehicle. In this particular vehicle, the CTS, bypass the Bose amp in the back, run speaker wires from the head unit back to the back. Check out my other video. I'll link it up above here somewhere that shows you how to bypass it. Be sure to drop your comments down below, like the video, and until next time.